Eagles win, Eagles win, Eagles win, Eagles win. Opening night, banner night to be exact, in the NFL season. We're going to break down the game. We have to break down the game. It's the Eagles versus the Cowboys. The Eagles versus the Cowboys. Well, before we can break down the game that I would so like to break down, I have a confession to make. Yes, I have to break down Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott before we get to the game. But my confession isn't that we have to break this down. The confession is more, I was so intrigued to see this matchup. I know people were intrigued to see Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell versus the wide receivers of the Cowboys. I know people wanted to see Dak Prescott after he's coming back from injury. But what I wanted to see was Dallas in the first round last year drafted Tyler Booker. Drafted a guard. They were prepared for the Zach Martin retirement. But when they drafted Tyler Booker, they drafted him with this nickname of the Jalen Carter Stopper. Now, Jalen Carter Stopper. The Jalen Carter Stopper. This guy's going into college. Jalen Carter's just coming off a Super Bowl where he waxed Mahomes in the face. Everybody knows the clip. And he is the Jalen Carter Stopper. So I was ready. The NFL knew what they were doing. Week 1, Dallas drafts the Jalen Carter Stopper. The Eagles have Jalen Carter. Well, we're going to see what happens. Well, Dak Prescott wanted to get involved with this Jalen Carter Stopper and this whole matchup. And Dak, I don't know if it was because Dak felt he wasn't ready. Let's bring it back. During the game, there's a picture where Jalen Carter gets ejected. Blood pressure, calm down. Jalen Carter gets ejected from the game. Jalen Carter then walks off the field. The game carries on. And all of a sudden, on Twitter, on Instagram, there is a video of Dak Prescott showing that he goes in between his lineman's head, Tyler Booker, the Jalen Carter Stopper, and I believe it's their center, BB, who they drafted maybe last year. Well, Dak goes in between both of their heads and spits. And there's a face Dak Prescott gives that if you don't play the game, you don't know. But if you spit in the direction of somebody and you give them a smirk, what's up? So when I seen that, I immediately went from, Jalen, why are you spitting before the first play happens, to, wait a minute, I got to do some digging. When you see this face of Dak Prescott as he spits and gives Jalen Carter a head nod, you're like, wait a minute. Does Dak even know kind of what he's doing? Let's do some digging. So we did some digging. We got the file and we have video. We're going to go to the video first because the video is very important to understand. When you are Dak Prescott and you have the Jalen Carter Stopper, you know that week 1, that is the biggest matchup because the person who can get to you most is not Quinyon Mitchell. It's not Cooper DeJean. Yeah, they get picks. That's okay. But if this Jalen Carter Stopper is not ready for you, well, it's going to be a long night for him and for Dak Prescott. So let's look into the video. Shout out to Devo on the video, by the way. So the video starts, the huddle. Well, let's break it down. The kickoff happens. Ben Van Sumeren is now hurt, and the two huddles are now merging. Jalen Carter is the head of the Eagles huddle at defensive tackle, and Dak Prescott is the head of his. In front of Dak Prescott is his lineman, and behind his lineman is Jalen Carter. Let's get to the tape. The tape starts. Dak Prescott is at the end of his huddle. He is now seeing, I believe what he sees now is eyes of a demon. Eyes of the wildest bully in the league. The eyes of the baddest YN in the NFL. He's locked eyes with Jalen Carter. and he sees Jalen Carter. Let's look at the video. He sees Jalen Carter, and he has the Jalen Carter stopper, and he has his lineman in front of him. So Dak is going to show now. I mean, Dak has missed football. Dak has missed a couple months of football, so I can understand when your juices start flowing and you're a football player. Let's get this straight out of the way first. Everybody on that field has a couple of screws loose. That's just football. To play the game, you have to have that. That's just a necessity. Wide receivers, running backs, linemen. If you look at Pat McAfee, you understand screws loose means screws loose any position. The punter. But when we go back to the Jalen Carter stopper, I love the name because when I kept thinking about why would Dak do such a thing as antagonize the wildest YN in the NFL? Everybody knows that. Don't antagonize. We just had Zach Martin. Zach Martin is all pro, first ballot. He allowed 4 sacks in his career. Zach Martin said, I don't want to deal with this guy anymore. Well, Zach Martin, it's okay. Because in the first round, Jerry went out and got, yes, he went out and got the Jalen Carter stopper, Tyler, Trevor, whatever your name is, Booker. We're not going to get to your name because at the end of the day, Dak saved you. And that's my point. I'm going to get there. Now, to my point, Dak Prescott sees and locks eyes with Jalen Carter, and he's feeling himself. I got a couple screws loose. I'm feeling myself. It's my first game back. I missed a lot of last season. Dak locks eyes with Jalen Carter and not only takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, he then goes in between both of his linemen and he then hawks a loogie at Jalen Carter. Both of his linemen then know that it is a cardinal rule to let a defensive lineman, which you're a quarterback, you have to then be the line of defense. But BB and Booker stay quiet. The Jalen Carter stopper does not even want to lock eyes with Jalen Carter. He is holding himself still. He is sitting quiet, and he is okay. This is my first game in the NFL, and the NFL is already trying me. They called me the Jalen Carter stopper, and the first game in the league, they gave me Jalen Carter. Welcome to the NFL. Well, Dak may have felt this. Dak may have something in Dak told Dak to antagonize Jalen. And Jalen, I'm going to get to you, but I have to get to Dak first. Dak antagonizes Jalen and spits and says, what's up, bro? What's up? If you know what a YN is, if you know what a crash out is, if you know what it is to be a bully on a football field, you don't antagonize them. Jalen Carter saw this as a sign of war. What? You were over there. You were 10 yards away. You then walked up 2 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, and stood behind this fake Jalen Carter stopper, who we watched the film during the game. Yeah, you had Moro Jomo, but Moro Jomo is not the same as Jalen Carter. We're going to get to that. Well, Dak goes in between his Jalen Carter stopper and his center and hawks a loogie at the baddest man in the game. I didn't want to spend too much time on this, but I felt like it needed to be said. Dak, you are going to play this man multiple times for the rest of your career. He is not the guy that you want to be on his bad side. He is going to be ready and waiting. You saw he answered the questions at the end of the press conference, at the end of the game. It was a mistake, my bad. That's not what he's thinking. Oh, you want to spit at me and then play victim? I'm a YN, bro. I can't wait to see you again. I can't wait to see. I'm not even going to say nothing next time. Next time, I'm just going to. They're talking to him. We know what happened, Jalen. We know the Eagles are talking, hey, you're going to get him. But now the media wants to come out and say you need to be suspended. Let all that happen. Let it happen. Let it clear out. But now, what Jalen needs to understand is he needs to become a leader on this defense. Yesterday, I missed Nakobe Dean. Now, I don't think that happens with Nakobe on the field, but that's just me. I just feel that the leadership with Nakobe, Jihad was too little amped up to be like, I can't control this guy. Anyways, I'm in my rookie spot. This is my time. I can't be looking around worried about other people, or I'm going to be somebody's welcome to the NFL moment. Somebody is going to be my welcome to the NFL moment. Now, Jihad, you played great, and I'm going to get to the breakdown, but I just wanted to end off by saying this. Jalen Carter, Jalen Carter, Jalen Carter. We want to win. We're going to need you, bro. Everybody's slamming Adoree Jackson today. Adoree Jackson's getting slammed because we didn't have a pass rush. 0 sacks. We did what we could, but we didn't have a pass rush. Thank God for that lightning storm. Thank God for the game for our defense. Thank God for the game because I needed to take a nap. But thank God for that lightning storm because we were in the middle of having a shootout. But now that's all over. Jalen, whatever the league decides, you just have to go with it. Listen, it's cool. We won the game. It's okay. Let everybody think you're dumb and that, you don't know what's happening. Hey, you spit on Dak. You're so disrespectful. Dak didn't antagonize the whole thing. Dak, you just antagonized one of the guys you probably shouldn't have. We'll wait and see what happens. But now on to what's next. We get to talk about the game. Let's get into the file. To open the game, Eagles offensively led by Jalen Hurts. Cowboys offensively led by Dak Prescott. Let's talk about the two quarterbacks. Jalen led the offense. Yes, the offense is expected to look better, but Jalen looked great coming into the season. He looked great. I understand people are saying you didn't get the ball to your wide receivers, but Jalen Hurts was 19 of 23 with a QBR of 93, and that's 93 out of 100. We've all been graded on the 100 scale. 93 out of 100 is an A minus, but that's neither here nor there. He also had 4 incompletions, 1 drop, 3 throwaways. So he was accurate, and he did not turn the ball over as we needed him to be. Then the tush push. Did y'all see that tush push? The league went and did all this voting for the tush push, and the opening game of the season, the only person that ran the tush push was Quinyon Mitchell. The only person that ran the tush push for Philadelphia was our cornerback. Well, congrats. That's great, you guys. That's great. But on to Dak Prescott now. Cowboys. Dak looked good. Besides the antagonizing of the best player, I'm not even worried about that. He got to worry about that for the rest of his career. Anytime he sees Jalen Carter on the schedule, he gets to deal with that. That ain't my problem. I'm a fan. So Dak, he looked good coming off the injury last season. Dak looked pretty decent. Now, he can play better. He can definitely play better. Both quarterbacks in the game had under 200 yards. Now, Dak wasn't rushing as much, although there was a wild play where he should have been sacked and still got positive yards. Boy, did I almost break something for that. But that was a pretty decent game for Dak. And I know everybody's going to say, yeah, Dak would have had 200 if CD had made the catches. It's week 1, guys. It's week 1. I'm not blaming anything on anybody yet. The juices is flowing. It's week 1. We still got to get our feet. We've been hitting our boys for the whole kind of preseason, offseason, and then the preseason, the starters aren't really playing. So everybody's getting, we're getting our feet warm. We're getting warm right now. We're prepping for the season. I would say week 1 is now the preseason to prepare everybody for what's to come with this 18-week season now. Well, now, besides the drops on Dallas, besides Dak Prescott can play better, we were in for a shootout with these two quarterbacks in the first half. Both guys were on it. Offenses moving. Defenses. Wow. So before I start talking about the Eagles defense, because I'm going to take my time with the Eagles defense, let's talk about the Cowboys defense and how it relates to the Eagles. Because I feel like a lot of people believe that Jalen Hurts didn't want to throw the ball to A.J. Brown. He can't throw the ball to A.J. We had to wait the whole game. Well, Dallas's game plan was if you throw it to A.J., there's going to be double coverage there. There's going to be a guy his job is to look at the connection between you two and wait for you to make that connection so he can jump it. They were playing coverage over the top on A.J. Brown all day. They almost did the same thing with Devontae Smith. Well, when we finally did get the bomb that we've been expecting from the best deep ball thrower in the league, we got it. We got a 50-yard bomb. And I know everybody, because everybody's watching the game. Everybody was watching the game. Was it AJ? Was it Devontae? Who did he throw this bomb to? Man, it was number 2, Jahan Dotson. Let's go, Jahani. Let's go. I'd love to see that Jalen was out here understanding, hey, you guys want to do what you guys want to do defensively, but that does not move me. If I have to run, I will be the league, not the league. Well, he is the league leader in rushing yards right now because he was the game leader in rushing yards. But if you guys need to force me to run the ball, I will do that. If you guys are going to force me to throw to somebody else besides my top 2 options, Dallas guarded, great game. Deep ball to Jahani. If it's open, it's open. We've seen in the Super Bowl, he's not afraid to throw to the Jahan Dotson. Well, Dallas's defense then came alive after this lightning storm. This lightning storm saved and hurt a lot of people. I'm not a betting man, but to hear that the betting line was 46, and at halftime, the Eagles had 21, and Dallas had 20. That's 41. One more touchdown, and bettors hit on the over. One more touchdown, and everybody who hit the under said, damn, I'm stupid. I mean, they felt like that at halftime watching this game. Like, I mean, who bets the under? I'm not a betting man, but to know Jalen Hurts and this Cowboys defense just lost Micah Parsons, people were saying we're expecting a 2-3 touchdown game. The Eagles are going to win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. So to see that this lightning storm came and said, everybody freeze, reverse. Well, 3 points were scored in the second half. 3. And those 3 were by the Eagles, giving us a total of 24 points and giving Dallas the same that they had at the first half. Well, Dallas. You guys traded your best pass rusher. And while everybody in Dallas should wake up today and feel exuberant on how you guys played yesterday, listen, you guys looked good. Coming into the regular season, we were all expecting worse. I have a breakdown. My breakdown for Dallas didn't hit, but listen, we have a breakdown, and what everybody expected from Dallas is not what we expected week 1. Happy to see Javonte Williams getting some run. Happy to see Dak moving like Dak of old. He did look like Dak of old. He didn't play to the full potential, but he did look like Dak of old. To look like Dak of old is to be prepared for what's coming ahead. Well, now looking at Dallas in the future, it looks like Dallas has a little fight. It looks like Dallas will be prepared. Well, they got some scrutiny. They have some obstacles to overcome now. CeeDee Lamb took accountability for the drops as he should. CeeDee Lamb took accountability for the drops as he should. But there are rules. And with the rules comes responsibility to others. Rule number 375. The quarterback takes most of the credit during a win and will also take most of the blame during a loss. I'm not a Dallas fan, but I can tell you that I respect what Dak Prescott did in the press conference. Although we did not acknowledge that he started the JC beef. That's for the football fans who know what's happening to happen. Dak Prescott did say there are throws that I can make better. Dak Prescott did not play as great as he should have, or as great as he could have. 21 of 34, under 200 yards. We can expect more and expect greater things from the Cowboys. And when it comes to CeeDee Lamb, like I said, it's week 1. This is their preseason. This is when he's getting the... That's right. I am CeeDee Lamb. I mean, the man had over 100 yards. The man had 90 yards at half. That second half did ruin the game, and he would have had 100 if he made the catches, yes. But he still had 100 without him. Now, looking on to the Eagles' defense. I don't need notes for this. Without JC, we looked bad, yes. Who looked the worst? The position we were all expecting. We lost Darius Slay last year, and we added Adoree Jackson. We added Jacorian Bennett. We had Keely Ringo, and it was a competition. And if you are going to tell me that this competition was done and set in stone at the end of training camp, I would have believed it. But that's not how football works. And Vic Fangio showed us that when he came and substituted guys in. Jacorian Bennett played in the first half. Now, was it because of injury? Adoree Jackson did come back in the game. We're going to let Vic think about that. But what I also saw was Vic also put in, we started off with the rookie, Andrew Makuba at safety, but he also switched in Sidney Brown to see what was going on. Now, the JC disqualification, maybe suspension, did open up our eyes to what a lot of the media was talking about with the Eagles losing a lot of players on defense. JC's role has increased with him playing the same position. His pass rush and his ability to rush the passer was shown that it was needed yesterday. 0 sacks on Dak Prescott. It was tough for our DBs, Q, Coop, and whoever the number 2 guy was to do whatever they could. Now, I'm going to get to the number 2 position, but I want to get to the defensive line first. We need more. Yes, we got a little bit at the end. Yes, these guys were able to stop the run a little bit. Yes, Nolan made a great play, and they called a penalty that they probably shouldn't have called, but it doesn't matter. It was not enough, and that's okay. That's okay, because as I said earlier, it's week 1. But this cornerback 2 spot really had everybody nervous. Listen, I was the most nervous. I was so nervous. Adoree Jackson made 2 good plays in a row, and I started clapping, standing up. I was so ready for Adoree to, this might be it. And then he gave up another play, and I was like, oh, no. Howie's Howie. So I'm not as worried as maybe other teams should be if they had the same problem. But still, we won the game. We won the game. Get it over with. We won the game. Takeaways from the game was that Vic is going to he's still kind of feeling out the defense. Jihad looked good in coverage. We have to be able to stop the run game a little bit better, though. Dallas is not a good running offense. It looked like they kind of got into a groove. They were able to pass and run. And yes, the pass rush that was needed was not there, but that's football for you. Next man up. Next man up. So with my final breakdowns for the game, I'm going to say that Dallas definitely looks better than what we expected coming into the season. But the Eagles look like they're at the floor right now, and the ceiling is unlimited. Unlimited. Yes, we did not get the ball to AJ. Yes, we did not get the ball to Smitty as much. Yes, Saquon didn't rush for 150 and break out that signature run. But we still have Jalen Hurts, and he still made the offense move. And we still saw little pieces of that offense actually showing us that they can show up and will show up. Jordan Shipley got hurt. Or Will Shipley, I apologize. Will Shipley got hurt in the game. But before he got hurt, he looked good. Filling in for him was A.J. Dillon, and A.J. Dillon gave me that feel of, I'm ready to hit. I'm ready to hit. So my takeaway for the offense is really the sky's the limit, and we know that they're building. And Kevin Patullo, let me add this last point. Kevin Patullo, week 1, I see you. I see you, boy. You running a couple new plays, the teams that we're playing know what we like to run. So you're running a couple little reverses, a couple little opposites, your eyes are looking here because you know we like to go here, but we're going to go here. And I love what Kevin Patullo was doing with that offense because it seemed familiar, but then when we seen the end of the play, we were like, oh, this is a little bit different. Oh, I like this a little bit. So offensively, sky's the limit. Still week 1. I'm not worried about anything. Fantasy owners, they're probably mad. Saquon didn't get the ball. AJ didn't get the ball. The Eagles are about one thing. And we heard Jalen Hurts talk about that one thing at the end of the game. We heard him acknowledge that greatness was here, so he had to be great on the field. Just win, baby. This is Schmotty with Blirt TV. Out! Blirt TV. We gon' run it, run it, run it, run it, run it.